Hello everyone, welcome back to Deep Techno Elite. I am Deep Manavakode. In the last session, we have seen the variables and scope of variable in the Python. In this session, I am going to talk about the Python keywords. So let's get started with subscribing the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. So first of all, let's see what is a keyword in Python. Well, keywords are the reserved word in Python that convey a special meaning to the compiler or interpreter. Each keyword has a special meaning of a specific operation, so we cannot use the keyword as a variable name, function name, or any other identifier. Keywords are used to define the syntax and structure of Python language. Also in Python, keywords are case sensitive and all the keywords except true, false, and name are in lowercase and they must be written as they are. There are total 36 keywords in Python 3.9. To get the keywords list on your operating system, let's open a command prompt on Windows or terminal on Mac OS. And type Python and hit enter. And then now let's type help followed by parentheses and hit enter. And then now let's type keywords and enter to get the list of keywords for a current Python version running on your operating system. One more point that you should note that the above list may change. The language could get away with some of the old keywords and bring in new one in future release. So let's go ahead and let's see how we can use these keywords. So here I am going to create a new file. So go to new and select Python file and I am going to name it keyword example. And hit enter. So the first keyword in Python is true. The true keyword is used as a boolean true value in Python code. If the given condition is true, then it returns true. Non-zero values are treated as true. The false keyword is used to represent a boolean false. If a statement is false, it returns false. And the keyword true and false are the result of comparison operations or logical operations. The false keyword is the same as 0, where true is the same as 1. So let's have an example. So here I am going to print 1 equals 1. So here I am just comparing two values using comparison operator equal. We will study operators in another session, so don't worry about that. So let's save this and run the file. Right click on it and select run keyword example. And here we get the output true as 1 equal to 1. So the given condition is true and we get the output true. And here I am going to say print 8 is greater than 10. Okay, save it and let's run the file. And here it will return false as 8 is not greater than 10. So the condition is false and we get the output false. I hope you understand this. So let's go ahead and let's see another keywords. Next we have AND keyword. The AND keyword is a logical operator. There are three logical operators in Python. The first one is AND, that is logical AND operator. Next one is OR, that is logical OR operator. And the third one is NOT, that is logical NOT operator. Python logical operator allows us to perform logical AND, OR and NOT operations between boolean values. Let's have a simple example of logical AND operator. The logical AND operator used to combine conditional statements. It will return true if both statements are true. Otherwise it will return false. So here I am going to say A equals 5 is greater than 3 and 5 is less than 10, and then I am going to print A. Okay, save it and run the file. And this will return true as both statements are true. Next we have OR logical operator. It returns true if one of the condition is true, otherwise it will return false. So let's say B equals 5 is greater than 3 or 5 is greater than 10, and then let's print B. Okay, now let's run the file and it will return true as the first condition is true. Now let's make both conditions false and let's see what happens. So here I'm just going to change this greater than sign to less than. Okay, save this and let's run the file and it will return false as both the conditions are false, right? Now let's move on. Next we have a not keyword. Python's not keyword is used to get the opposite boolean value of a variable. The not keyword is used in a conditional statement or other boolean expressions to flip the boolean meaning or result. Unlike and or, not will determine the explicit boolean values true or false and then return the opposite value. Let's have a look at the simple example of not logical operator. So here I'm going to say x equals false and then let's have print not x. Alright, save it and let's run the file and it will return true. I hope you get this concept clear. Okay, now next we have a if else keyword. The if keyword is used to create conditional statement. It allows you to execute the block of code only if a condition is true. So let's have a look at the example. So here I'm going to say age equals 17 and then let's have a if statement. If age is greater than 18 colon print you are eligible for driving license else print you are not eligible for driving license. In this example, we have used else keyword too. The else keyword is used to conditional statement to decide what to do if the condition is false. Okay, save this and let's run the file. And it will print you are not eligible for driving license. Here, the if keyword check if the person is older than 18 years. If the condition is met, it will execute the if statement. Otherwise, it will execute the else part. So here the condition is not true. So it executes the else part and we get the output you are not eligible for driving license. The next we have the Alif keyword. The Alif keyword is used to check the multiple conditions. So let's have an example. So here let's say A equals 10 and B equals 15. If A is greater than B, then I'm going to print, let's say A is greater than B and then let's have elif, that is else if A is less than B, then it's going to print A is less than B, else I'm going to print, let's say A is equals to B, okay, save it and let's run the file and it will return the A is less than B as 10 is less than 15. So it executes the else if part as condition is met. So it's easy to check the multiple conditions, right? Now let's move on. Next we have for and while keywords. Both keywords are used for iteration. The for keyword is used to iterate over the sequence. We can use the for loop to iterate over a list, tuple or strings. So let's have a simple example. So here I'm going to say fruits equals square bracket, let's say apple, separate by a comma, banana, and let's have one more, let's say cherry, and then here let's say for x in fruits colon print x. Here the x will be the value of fruits. So here I'm going to print x, save it and run the file. And it will print the value of x in fruits, that is apple, banana and cherry. Next we have a while keyword. A while loop is executed until the condition returns false. So let's have a look at the example. So here let's say x equals 0 while x is less than 5 colon then print x, and then I'm going to say x equals x plus 1. So here in this example the value of x will go on printing, and this process will be continued until the value of x will be less than 5. So save this and let's run the file. And here the value of x is printed here from 0 to 4 when the value of x become 5, and it checks the condition that 5 is less than 5. The condition returns false and the while loop stop execution. Next we have a break keyword. It is used to terminate the loop execution and control transfer to the end of the loop. Let's have a look at the example. For I in range, let's say 10 colon, if I is greater than 3, then break, and then I'm going to print the value of I. So here I is having the value in range 0 to 9 because 10 is the upper limit and upper limit always will be exclusive. So that's why I is having the value ranging from 0 to 9, and then we have if statement. If I is greater than 3, then break means it will terminate the loop and it will come out from the loop. So save this and let's run the file. So the value of I is printed here from 0 to 3. When I will become 4, it will check the condition and break statement will execute it, and print I will remain unreachable. Okay. Next we have a continue keyword. The continue keyword is used to control the flow of code. The continue keyword skips the current iterations of the loop but does not end the loop. So let's have a look at the example here. Let's say for I in range, let's say 5 colon, if I equals 2, then continue, and then print I. So here I in range 5, if I equals to 2, it will skip the 2 and it will continue the loop. So let's save this and run the file. And it will print I from 0, 1. It will check the if condition, and when the value of I will become 2, it will skip the iteration and continue the loop and print 3 and 4. Okay, I hope you understand this. Now let's go ahead and let's see the next keyword. The next keyword is def. The def keyword is used to create or define a function. A function is a block of code which only runs when it called. So let's have an example. So here I'm going to define my function. So let's say def my function, and then I'm going to print welcome to Deep Techno Elite. to execute the function. Now let's call the function, my function. Okay, save this and let's run the file. And it will print welcome to Deep Techno Elite. Alright, now next we have a keyword called Lambda. The Lambda keyword is used to create a small anonymous functions. Python anonymous function is a function which has no name. Therefore, we can use Python anonymous function for a small scope of program. Normally, we define a Python function using Dev keyword, but we define anonymous function using Lambda keyword. So let's have a look at the example. So here let's say x equals Lambda. Let's say a, comma, b, comma, c, colon. Let's say a plus b plus c, and then I'm going to print x, and I'm going to pass the values. Let's say 10, comma, 20, comma, 30. A lambda function can take any number of arguments but can only have one expression. Okay, save it and let's run the file. And it will show us the sum of this number. Next keyword is yield. This keyword is used with the Python generator. It stops the function execution and returns value to the caller. Let's understand this with the example. So here I am just going to define a function called generator for I in range, let's say 5. That means the I is having a value from 0 to 4, and then let's have a yield keyword, and then I'm going to square the I. So let's say I into I. So here I is in range 5. That means I is having a range from 0 to 4, and I square means 0 square, 1 square up to 4 square, that is 16. And then I'm going to store the output in a variable called g. G equals generator then for I in g, and then I'm going to print I. So here I'm just going to square the numbers from 0 to 4 and store it in a variable g, and from the variable g I'm going to print the value of I. So save it and let's run the file. And here we get the square of the numbers from 0 to 4, that is 0, the square of 0, 1, that is the square of 1, 4, that is the square of 2, 9, that is the square of 3, and 16, the square of 4. Yield are used in Python generator. A generator function is defined like a normal function, but whenever it needs to generate a value, it does so with the yield keyword rather than return. If the body of the definition contains yield, the function automatically becomes a generator function. The next keyword is return. The return keyword is used to exit a function and return a value. So let's have an example. So here I am going to define my function. And then let's have a return keyword 5 plus 5. And then I'm going to print the function, print my function. So the return keyword here will return the value of this 5 plus 5, that is 10. So let's save this and run the file. And it will return the value 10. And remember one more thing, that if I write a statement after the return line, will not be executed. So let's see if I write a print statement after the return. So let's say print, and I'm going to print my name Deepmala. Okay. Save this and run the file. So the function returns the value 10 and the print statement after the return will not be executed. Okay, now next we have a global keyword. A global keyword is used to define a variable inside the function to be of a global scope. Means any function can access this global. So let's have an example. So here I am going to define my function and then let's have a global keyword and a variable, let's say a, and then let's assign a value to the variable, let's say a equals 100, and I am going to define a variable b equals, let's say 200, and then let's say c equals a plus b, and then print c. And now let's execute the function. So let's call the function my function. And now the variable a is having a global scope, so we can access it outside the function. So let's print a. So here I have printed the variable a outside the function. Save it and let's run the file. And here it will print the value of c, that is 300, that is the variable a plus b, and outside the function it will return the value of a, that is 100. Okay. The next keyword is non-local. The non-local keyword is used to work with the variable inside nested function where the variable should not belong to the inner function. So it is local for the outer function but not the inner function. This keyword is used to modify some non-local variable value. Otherwise, it is in read-only mode. So let's have a look at the example. So here I am going to define outer function x equals 10, print x from outer function plus string x. We have seen this string formatting in the previous video. If you missed that, please check the link in the description below. And then I am going to define inner function non-local x and then x equals, let's say 20, and print x from inner function plus. Now let's call the inner function and then print x from outer function plus string x, and then I am going to call the outer function. Okay, so here in this example I have defined the outer function, and in this function I have a variable x having a value 10, and then I am going to print the x from the outer function, and then I have defined this inner function, and in this inner function I have defined this non-local x, and here I have updated the value of x to 20, and then I am going to print the value of x from inner function, and here I have called the inner function, and then from the outer function scope I am going to print the value of x, and here I have called the outer function. Okay. Save this and let's run the file. And here it will print the value of x from the outer function, that is 10. And then we have used this non-local keyword and print the value of x from the inner function, that is 20. And then we have print the value of x from the outer function, that is 10. But here it prints 20. Why? Because we have defined this non-local to the inner function, and non-local keyword is allow you to modify the variable from a different scope. So this x will become 20. So this x equals to 20 become local to the outer function, and it modify x to 20, and here it will return the x from outer function, that is 20. Okay, now let's move on. The next keyword is. The Python is keyword is an identity check. This is defined from the equals operation. The equal to operation checks for the equality. Sometimes two things can be considered equal but not be the exact same object in the memory. The is keyword determines whether the two objects are exactly the same object. This will return true if object 1 is the exact same object in memory as object 2, or else it will return false. Most of the time it used to check if an object is none. So let's have a look at the example. So here let's say x equals Deep Techno Elite and y equals x, and then print x is y. Save this and let's run the file. And it will return true as both the objects are the same objects. Now let's see the example for two objects that are equal but not the same objects. So here let's say A equals Deepmala and B equals Deepmala, and then print A is B. Okay, save this and let's run the file. And it will return false as both objects are equal, that is having the same data, but they are not the same objects. So it will return false. Now next keyword is class. The class keyword is used to create a user-defined classes. A class is the collection of a variable and method. So let's see the example. So here I am going to create a class called employee. And then I am going to define a variable. Let's say name equals Deepmala and salary, let's say 30,000. And then I am going to print employee dot name. Okay, save it and let's run the file. And it will print the name of the employee. Next we are going to see the keyword as. The as keyword is used to create an alias for the module imported. Let's see the example. Import math as my math and print my math dot square root, let's say 25. So here I have import the built-in function math and create alias as my math, and then I am going to calculate the square root of the number 25 using the square root function contained in the math module. So let's save this and run the file. And it will print the square root of 25, that is 5.0. Alright, now The next keyword is assert. Assert keyword is used as the debugging tool in Python. It checks the conditions in your code. It raises an assertion error if found any error in the code and print the message with an error. When the condition is true, it returns nothing. So let's see the example. Assert 10 is greater than 10. So here I have used the assert keyword and then a condition. If the condition is true, it will return nothing, and if the condition is false, it will return the assertion error. So let's save this and run the file, and it will return the assertion error as the condition is false. And if I change this value, so let's say 50 is greater than 10. Okay, save this and again run the file, and it will return nothing. Now the next keyword is del. The del keyword is used to delete object. In Python, everything is an object. So the del keyword can also be used to delete variable, list or parts of a list and so on. So let's have an example here. So let's say a equals 100 and b equals 200. Now I am going to delete the variable a. So let's say del a. Now let's try to print the variable. So let's say print a and print b. Okay, save it and let's run the file. And it will raise a name error, that is the name a is not defined as variable a is no longer exist. Okay, next we are going to see the try, except and finally keywords. These are the really important keywords. These keywords are used to handle different exceptions in Python. In the try block, we can write some code which may raise some exception, and using the except block, we can handle them. The finally block is executed even if there is an unhandled exception. So let's have a look at the example. So here let's write the block of code. Try x is greater than 3 except print something went wrong, else print x. Finally print. The try except block is executed. So here I am going to try a block of code and decide what to do if it raises an error. The try keyword is used to try except block to define a block of code and test if it contains any error, and then it will print the error message, else it will print the next statement and finish the execution of try except block. So save this and let's run the file. And it will raise an error, something went wrong, and then it will go to the finally and execute the block of code written in the finally. If I provide the value of x in the program, it will print the value of x and then execute the finally block. So let's try this. So here I am going to say x equals 10. Now save this and let's run the file. And it will print the value of x, that is 10, and then execute the finally block of code. I hope you understand this, how try, except and finally keywords are work. Now let's see the keyword rise. The rise keyword is used to raise an exception. So using the rise keyword, we can define what kind of error to raise and the text to print to the user. So let's have a look at the example. So x equals, let's say hello. if not type X is int, then rise and type error. Let's say only integers are allowed. Okay, save it and let's run the file. And it will rise and type error, only integers are allowed. Okay, next we have with keyword. The with keyword is used in the exception handling. It makes code cleaner and more readable. The advantage of using with keyword is we don't need to call close function. So let's have a look at the example. With open, let's say example.txt, comma w as file, and then file dot write, let's say hello Deepmala. So here I have used this with keyword to open an example.txt file in a write mode, and I'm going to write hello Deepmala to the example file, and then let's say with open example.txt. Now I'm going to open this file in a read mode as file, and then I'm going to print file dot read function. Okay, save this and now let's run the file. So here with keyword is used to create an example.txt file, and here I have read this hello Deepmala, and then here with the read mode we have read the file and it will show us hello Deepmala. Okay, the next keyword is import. The import keyword is used to import modules. So here let's say import datetime, then x equals datetime dot datetime dot now, and then I'm going to print x. So here I'm going to import the module called datetime, and then I'm going to print the current date and time using the datetime.now function. Save this and let's run the file, and it will return the current date and time. Okay, next we have a keyword called from. The from keyword is used to import only a specified section from a module. From math import factorial, and then I'm going to print the factorial of number 5. So let's say print factorial and number 5. So here from the module math I'm going to import the factorial, and then I'm going to print the factorial of the number 5. So let's save this and run the file, and it will print the factorial of number 5, that is 120. Okay, the next keyword is in. The in keyword is used to check if a value is present in a sequence like list or range or string. Also in keyword is used to iterate through a sequence in a loop. So let's see the example. So here I am going to have a list of fruits. Fruit equals, let's say apple, comma, banana and cherry. And then I'm going to check if the apple is present in the list. So if apple in fruit, then I'm going to print apple is in list. Save this and run the file, and it will print the apple is in list. Alright, now the next keyword is none. The none keyword is used to define a null value or a void. An empty list or 0 cannot be treated as none. none is a data type of its own none type. So let's have a look at the example. So here I'm going to define a function. So here I'm going to define a function, my function. And then I'm going to print hello world. And then let's say x equals my function. And then I'm going to print x. Okay, save it and let's run the file. And it will print none because this function is not going to return anything. So it will print none. That is, it represents the null value. Okay, now the next keyword is pass. The pass keyword is basically the null statement in Python. When the pass is executed, nothing happens. This keyword is used as a placeholder. So let's see the example. So here I'm going to define one more function. So let's say define my function. And then let's have a pass statement. And then I'm going to call my function. Okay, save this and let's run the file. And it will show nothing. So here we have seen Python keywords, its definition and how to use them step by step. Well, that's all for today's session. To learn more, subscribe the channel and hit the bell to receive the notification. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like and comment below. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.